few years ago, I was knee-deep in this fundraising chaos. I had 1,000 funders to research, hundreds of deadlines to hit, and 0 time to build real relationships with funders. Does it sound familiar? Yes it does. Yes, it does. Fundraising is getting more and more competitive every day. There is more money, but there are a lot more organizations looking for it. So what do you do? Well, I built a fundraising engine. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm going to tell you why and show you how to do it. I don't have to tell you that fundraising is really, really hard. When I joined the European Journalism Centre, I never fundraised before. I found myself at the beginning of my first year with only 30% of the funds raised for that year that I needed. I needed to raise over €1 million and I had no idea where to start. If you just try to Google journalism funds, you just end up with hundreds of websites, thousands of grants, no way to know which ones are for you, which ones to prioritise, how much money to ask for, any of that kind of stuff. I couldn't work out what any of these funders wanted. So I thought back to my previous job of business developer and realized, wait a minute, this is basically the same work. Good fundraising, just like good sales, is about both process and principles. Define your target audience, create a pipeline, and then start building relationships. And essentially, a fundraising engine is just a set of principles and a set of processes. Those principles are targeted research, radical focus, and a commitment to deep relationship building. And the processes, well, that's just a productivity system that helps you store, understand, and act on the intelligence that you've been gathering. Simply put, a fundraising engine is just something that saves you a lot of time and builds really deep connections with funders that helps you raise money. If you have a lot else on and you need a strategic approach to fundraising, I highly recommend you build one. In my approach to fundraising and building a fundraising engine, there are 5 strategic blocks: a lead database, a research framework, prioritization criteria, an opportunity tracker, and an engagement engine. Once I put all 5 of these things in place, everything just clicked. I wasn't wasting time on funders who weren't aligned. There was no last minute panic for deadlines, and I could concentrate on building really deep relationships with the funders I wanted to work with, and they wanted to work with me. And soon enough, the money started coming in. So now you know a little bit more about the kind of theory behind it. You know some of the reasons to build one. Let's dig into actually what I mean by those 5 building blocks of the fundraising engine. The first component for your fundraising engine is a lead database. This is a place to store potential funders and the intelligence that you have gathered on them. Simple, right? The whole idea is you track everything and put it into this very structured database. The next building block of any good fundraising engine is a research framework. This is a discovery process that helps you find the funders that are most aligned to you as quickly as possible. Get this right, you'll save yourself loads of time. The next step is building prioritization criteria. This is just a very simple list of knowing what type of funding you're looking for. It reduces noise, helps you focus your efforts, and make sure that you're targeting and prioritizing approaches to funders that are really going to want to work with you. This might seem obvious, but I see a lot of people who don't really know what type of funding they want. They just want funding. The next building block is an opportunity tracker. This is a way of tracking every single action that you're taking towards your funding goals, sharing it with your team, keeping on top of stuff, and helping you time block specific amounts of time every single week to work on the most important things. It allows you to have an overview of all of your activities and make sure you're targeting your action. The final building block for any good fundraising engine is the engagement engine. This is the specific part of it that encourages you to reach out to funders, to nurture those relationships, and do so in an authentic way. So those are the 5 building blocks. We've got the lead database, we've got the research framework, we've got the prioritization criteria, we've got the opportunity tracker, and then we've got the engagement engine. But like practically, what does this actually look like? What do you need to do? So the first thing you need to do is set up a lead database. This is an empty spreadsheet with certain amounts of structured data that are going to help you make decisions on which funders you want to work with, or at least approach. The key here is to keep crucial data as you discover it on their geographical focus, their strategic focus, the types of grants they're giving, the amount of money, any deadlines, to make sure that you're always putting this in and not just writing it in a scattered way all over bits of paper on your desk. Secondly, you need to design a research process. So this is your streamlined way of discovering funders, and you want to kind of do the same thing every time. You want to build a streamlined process that allows you to either automate or at least systematize the way that you approach funders. The next key then is to apply and stick to, important point, your prioritization criteria. You need to know in advance what types of funding you're looking for. Don't go chasing down every rabbit hole, but really focus on the types of funding that's going to move the needle for your organization. You might be looking for multi-annual 3-year unrestricted grants worth millions of euros, or you might be a small organization looking for 15,000 euros to kickstart a new investigation. The next step then is to use the opportunity tracker that you've created to keep an eye on every single milestone, every single deadline, every single bit of outreach, every single bit of response, every intelligence that you get back from the funder. So you're constantly loading it into this database, whether it's just you or your entire team. So you're sharing that stuff, you're reflecting on it, and then you're refining your search and your approach process as you go. I personally find using a Kanban methodology really useful for this, where you can really visualize moving things through phases and not having too many funders in the approach phase and not enough funders in the closing phase, too many different types of funders. All of those kind of things can be revealed to you by using a good Kanban methodology or something visual. Again, getting it off bits of paper, getting it into a system. Finally, you want to make sure you use time blocking. Block out a certain amount of time every single week to focus on this. It might be an hour every single day. It might be the whole of your Thursday morning. Whatever you do, make sure you take that time and then apply the energy that you have to the most important tasks at hand. And I'll tell you, once you start doing this, it's a bit like magic. Fundraising wasn't chaos anymore for me. The change wasn't really these tools or a particular database. It was really the mindset shift. I realized that I wasn't just reacting. I was starting to anticipate cycles and deadlines and crunch points. And in doing so, I raised over 20 million euros in 5 years. Now, there are a bunch of other factors that go into that, and not every organization needs that kind of money. But I would really strongly recommend that you build your fundraising engine, you systematize your approach, you time block, and it will make everything much easier for you. So if you're stuck in fundraising chaos, this might be what you need. And look, I've got a present for you. I've developed a database of 80 funders who are interested in the kind of civics, human rights, and journalism space. And I've already structured an entire database and a fundraising engine with those 5 building blocks for you in an Excel spreadsheet. It's all yours completely free. You can just go to my website and download it. And then you can basically either use that as it is or adapt it for your own particular needs. I've also created a course that helps you dig into every aspect of that fundraising engine. It will teach you how to do everything you need, from how to time block. It will teach you ways to discover funders using my virtuous circle technique. It will show you all the data that you want to pull in. It will show you a bunch of productivity methodologies, and it will give you a primer on who's funding journalism right now. So you can go to my website to download either Fundraising HQ, my own fundraising engine, or to take a look at that course. Let me know how it's working out for you in the comments. Let me know if you have any other fundraising tips. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.